Okay, so should be live. Should be able to hear me. I don't have the camera set up today. Um, it's just going to be a working session. I just have had a ton to do. I have been editing for hours. A new video, which is not even something that I can show you yet, because I will show you, though, at some point in the stream in about 6.5 minutes. I have a video exporting right now, and I edited down the stream yesterday, which was on Geometric Unity, and the drama between Eric Weinstein and Tim Nguyen and his anonymous co-author of the paper critical of geometric unity, and it's a very long stream. It's well over 3 hours, and it was a great stream though, and I edited it down to under 2 hours because I cut out everything that was irrelevant to that specific, or less relevant to that specific topic. And so I'm going to re-upload that video as a separate video specifically addressing that and the various topics that were dealt with in that discussion, which were specifically regarding like, how do you criticize work in general, someone else's work in general, and then also how can you even disprove a theory of everything? And I want to talk a little bit more about that today, because I want to talk about the differentiators of these theories, because it's really tough. Like, we need to figure out a way to pick how to move forward. I'm not even going to say pick one, but figure out how to move forward with all these theories around. So with that said, let me just setting up my second screen here, because I can still do that at least. And I can make sure that the stream doesn't go down, because sometimes it does. Okay. I can see the chat. Cool. Hit the like button if you're here, and follow Sentient Singularity Theory, the website, and all my various social platforms, because they're gonna kick us off, and I know it. I'm seeing that my social media, my personal page on Instagram, is getting flagged for nonsense. Wow, you guys probably haven't seen the infinite fractal desktop in a while. Let's get rid of that for you. I lost my professionalism tonight, but it's okay. It's a working session. Okay, there we go. What do you guys also think about, like, leave in the chat any tips you have on, like, thumbnails or whoa, okay, I don't even know what Microsoft Assistant is. And just general practices regarding the channel, things you like, things you don't, things that you would improve the streams. Let me know your general thoughts, and I'd definitely be interested in hearing it. This has been my thumbnail for a while. I tweak it every now and then, but like, it stays pretty much the same. Just make sure that I can see this. There we go. Yep. And I like it. I think that it's pretty good for now. But if you have other ideas, submit them to the Discord, and I'd love to take a look. So I know Ethan, who runs the Theory of Everyone Clips channel, he's created a great you know, set of thumbnails for the clips channel, and I've even used some, honestly, like accidentally a lot. I'm supposed to go in and change those eventually, or I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I was meaning to. But I would like to get the thumbnails a little bit more specific. So I also did upload this today, which I highly suggest checking out. But here's a better way of viewing it. So here we go. Pretty awesome, right? It's funny because, like, I've talked about this before. I can't dance very well, but because my perspective on it is off. But this project is basically like the closest. It is the closest I get to dancing with any like real intention of creating something good, not just getting by, which is normally my intent with dancing. But here we go one more time because I kept messing it up. Pretty cool. So that is how's it going, Torin? But by the way, I don't know if you were on the stream, Torin, when I thought I got bit by my hognose snake and envenomated and thought I lost my gecko, but I found it during the stream in the cage with my new day gecko. I don't know if you saw that, but I figured you'd relate to it. But you should check that out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, this is something I'm just going to continue to add to over time. It's not really like I don't know when it's done. It's just one of those things that I'm using as a tool to help me learn how to animate. And that's really what I realized I was doing, is like I'm teaching myself how to animate, and I've always wanted to learn how to animate. And obviously I didn't make most of the animations in here. I've made some kind of by, you know, combining other shapes and things like that, but most of them I made by combining recordings of animations that were made by others. So I'm not quite there yet, but I'm still manipulating those animations and changing them in color and size and properties and, you know, directionality and all kinds of things. And it's amazing how much it will teach you about creation and existence, because to animate is to animate. This is what, like, if you could think about what does God do with the universe, he animates the universe. That is what he does. And it's a very useful skill to have, to be able to animate, you know, just anything. Like, you can, and I've thought a lot about this because, and I want to talk a bit about my paper tonight, because I really don't, I want it to be a paper, but I'm running into this this issue where it's really not the most ideal ooh, that's not good. Hold up. It's not the most ideal, I guess, medium of conveying, you know, everything that you would want to convey. And I'm thinking about, like, probably doing a paper and then doing an entire video that's not a live stream. I'll also do a live stream, but like an edited video that is basically the paper itself, but in video form, because it's much easier for many people to learn like that, myself included, and then also it's much easier to kind of just follow along with the models that kind of are best seen animated, I guess is the way to put that. So let me see here what happened to my paper. I really hope that it's still there somewhere, because I have it saved many times over. By the way, always save your work, like, lots of times. But I did do a lot of work on it yesterday, and it is kind of looking like it's not here. Okay, wait. We got it. Oh, man. That would have sucked. That was a lot of work. By the way, I hate this new, word. And if you have this problem too, then it took me actually like a long time to figure out how to change this. But you go to view, I think, and then you go to switch modes. So they have like a night mode that is basically the default, and then they have a day mode, just like, I guess, like this. So this is the paper, like I went over a bit other streams this week, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what's the best way to release this, and I definitely would like your thoughts on it if you're watching this, because I am going to contact my philosophy professor and ask his help on this, essentially releasing not necessarily the total paper of Sentient Singularity Theory, but at least the paper on the 4 primary perspectives, and that paper should be done, you know, soon. But I do have the goal of finishing at least a first draft of the entirety of the paper by the end of this year, and of Sentient Singularity Theory. And I've been kind of like following this model of just release everything everywhere, so that, you know, nobody can claim that they thought of it or something like that. And you know, people do think of similar things. Everybody's got, you know, Eric's got X4 and his 4 parameters, and I've got the 4 primary perspectives, and Klee has tetrahedrons and things like that. So it's not like and we're not the only ones. There's a philosopher, I forgot his name, that someone else pointed out to me once that had a similar thing going on. So it's not, you know, a unique structure that we're all looking at, but it is a unique description. So, and there'll be overlap, but you know, you can tell if somebody who's never been working on any kind of theories in that are, you know, super aligned with this type of work. They came out with the 4 primary perspectives. Within the next like year, I would be pretty much just I would definitely think that they you know, plagiarize them, which you know, that don't take credit for work that's not yours. I guess, like, build on the work of others, but don't take credit for work that's not yours. Just like, you know, I didn't animate every video in that in this dancing universe, and it says right here, where is it? If you created anything used in this video, comment below and I will pin it. Pin your comment. Like, I don't know who made, for instance, like that animation. Like, I don't know. I know who combined the two. That was me. But like, just that, I don't know who made that. I changed the color of it, but I didn't, you know, I didn't animate that. So I don't want to take credit for the, you know, the work of others, but I will build on it and use it. I don't believe in patents. Like, but I do believe in like credit. So you could say copyright, but I believe in credit. I don't believe in patents. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I understand the economic impacts of a patent on everybody, but it's also just, you know, ridiculous. I think you don't own information. Nobody owns information except God, and like, the idea that you do is wrong. And we will see this become more and more apparent as an issue as you know, people start encountering the same things that farmers have been encountering with Monsanto and big corporations that patent genetic information. Wait till people end up being GMOs and you don't own yourself anymore. And that, if you don't think that will happen, that will absolutely happen. You don't think a corporation will try and get a patent on a gene that it edits you with? Like, wait till that gene is like patrilineally or matrilineally passed on. Who owns your kids at that point? That's a very interesting question. But if patents didn't exist, then you wouldn't worry about it. But we will have to worry about it because patents exist. And which is just, it's just literally, it's theft. I think it's theft. Like, you just happen to have the guy with the biggest gun backing you up when you have a patent that's able to be enforced, and but you're just stealing from everyone else. Even if you came up with it, if you unveil it, then it belongs to everybody. But that doesn't mean other people can take credit for your work, but they can, you know, build on it. It's interesting. I have this knife here, actually. I wish I was I'll show it another time, but it has this little mechanism on it that is called a wave opener, and I can show it to you, actually. Whoa, what just happened to my light? I guess, never mind. It's just my timers. But so here is Emerson wave. This is an Emerson wave, okay? And it's a little hook on the back of a knife, and here and here and here, and it's been patented by you know, this guy Emerson, who created it. And what it does is that when you're opening the knife, it hooks onto your pants and then it opens the knife for you as you pull the knife out of your pocket. So it opens the knife automatically as you pull it out of your pocket. It's the fastest way to open a knife that exists, and it's just a little like hook structure on the back of the blade. It's like, why do you somehow own that or that? They don't even look alike. They do the same thing, sure, but like they don't look alike. And like that, how do you own that? That's ridiculous. But I will say, this is it does lead to people finding all kinds of interesting ways around it. So I have a knife here that found a way around it, and it's called the Fox. Bird. I think that's it. Bertolli bird. Fox knives. Middle bird. Okay. Yeah, that's it. This is it. So this is a knife that has a patented wave, Emerson wave on the end. Same with this. And if you look carefully on every knife that has the patent, you'll see Emerson written very small. But this knife right here found a way around it and it actually found a better way around it. This structure is able to be used to and opened with your thumb very easily, and it works just as well, if not better, than a wave opener with the same exact kind of method. So this is the knife that I have that I was like discussing, and this knife found a way around the patent and actually improved it, but it took probably the last 20 years before somebody did it. And I've seen so many attempts. People say, oh, it's not a wave opener, it's a screwdriver. It's a bit holder for screwdrivers. It's a bottle opener. It's like, there's all kinds of ways around it, but rarely do they actually like lead to better methods. Sometimes they do, but if there isn't something better, you should be able to use it, and you shouldn't be able to own like a little nub of a piece of metal on a piece of product that you didn't make. Like, that makes no sense. And so yeah. Have you what kind of Western hognose? I don't have a Western hognose, Torin. I have a tricolor hognose. Apparently there's a theory of everything in India. There's definitely a theory. There's multiple theories of everything in India. 15 million if you want the Michael Jordan for you, kid. 4K for Shaq. Very pricey jeans. Oh, I'm sure they're going to do that. Of course they're going to do that. I don't even think about that very often, but people will sell their jeans for sure. Athletes will literally live off their jeans. And I don't think that's really a bad thing. Let me tell you what that is. It is the beginning of us turning into this. Eusocial species. Oh, look, there's a naked mole rat. Showing advanced level of social organization in which a single female or caste produces the offspring and non-reproductive individuals cooperate in caring for the young. So basically, we're just going to have like the star athletes and high IQ people selling their genes, and it's going to all come from some sperm bank or something, and literally that will be like the queen. Whoever controls that digital information, that logged DNA information, will basically be like the queen of humanity, like a queen bee. It's going to be very weird. We'll see what happens with it, but we're definitely becoming eusocial. We will become a eusocial species, and to a degree that bees and wasps and ants are not. Like, we will have collective thought that is like, it's real-time psychic abilities. Like, we will have that. And I wonder sometimes if bees have that, and ants and stuff, and people will say, that's some weird woo nonsense, Tyler. You don't know that. You're not a bee. I don't know. They seem to have oneness of mind. And people say, well, it's because of pheromones and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm sure it is, partially. Man. You social animals are amazing. I'm going to have to do a stream on you social species probably next week because I want to delve into it quite a bit, but I haven't really prepared. But we're going to highlight this channel right here when we do that. Which I highly recommend. AntsCanada. This channel has 4.25 million subscribers. And he literally just makes, videos of his ant colonies that he has. And they're real colonies. Like, they're not, like, without a queen. They have a queen. So, here's an example. You can watch hours of this stuff.
And speaking of this delicate and important partnership, it seems one of our biggest ant colonies on this channel has been long deserving of their own territory upgrade and expansion, and many of you have also shared this sentiment. Selva de Fuego, the jungle of fire.
So he basically has what's called a polydarium, which is, it's half water, half land. I love making polydariums for my animals as well.
Living naturally around water in the Amazon rainforest.
He puts a fire ant colony in here.
Was going to be native to the South American Amazon. Finally, I had to try to pull all of this off without getting stung. Try being the operative word. The idea was just crazy, but as master ant world creators, I was up for the challenge. Our beloved Fire Nation have long deserved and needed a new and larger home.
It's amazing. Like, so this is what I'm not going to probably ever have an ant colony, but I will have this. An observation hive of bees. And so basically it's a beehive, but it's a beehive that you can see into because it's made of, glass in at least part of it. So there's all different ways to build it, and I saw the most amazing observation hive possible at I was at the location of my Nigerian wedding, like traditional Nigerian wedding or Igbo wedding. But here's one where this guy makes basically.
And I heat it up and sanitize it carefully before I put that on the hive. And here it is all together.
So there's glass here in between, you and the bees, and there's a hole in the wall of his barn or whatever this is in, and it leads out into, the wilderness, and the bees can go in and out, and you can see them making their home and caring for their brood and making honey and all kinds of things, communicating. And this is it's gonna, when I do this, it's going to lead to so many revelations. I've already had some. Here's a weird one. Speaking of like us going eusocial, there's a good video of this. Let's see here. What's her name? Diane. Are they no longer following me? come I can't search their followers on here? This girl's a influencer with PragerU, and so I don't know her, so don't ask. But I just know she does videos for PragerU. I used to work for PragerU. She looks like she was basically hired soon after I left. But looking for a video that I'm talking about. So here, this is the Second Amendment TikTok, apparently. Okay, that's it, guys. And we think, like, this isn't even sexual. Like, this is not, like, there's no reason for this to get so much attention. It means nothing that we can see that is obvious. It's not sexual. Like, she's clearly attractive, but that's not the point. It's not sexual. Why is this being done by every girl? You know what it is? This is it. This is literally what they're doing. Watch this.
I study all different kinds of social bees because you really need to look at social bees to study their communication.
By the way, all worker bees are girls.
You have honeybees, bumblebees, and stingless bees. But honeybees have this amazing ability to communicate, and it's one of the reasons why I became a biologist, because I discovered as an undergraduate that they could communicate using a waggle dance.
Yep.
Inside.
You know what a waggle dance is? That's a waggle dance, guys. If that's not a waggle dance, then I don't know what is a waggle dance. That's a
I
waggle.
brought you frankincense. Thank you. And I brought you myrrh.
That's not a waggle dance. This is a waggle dance.
I put this soda up. I put this soda up, and I don't, because I don't care. I don't care.
Like, this is a waggle dance. That's it. That's it, guys. Like, it's communication. But it's not just communication. It is directing attention. Okay? And this is literally waggle dances. We're bees, guys.
So a bee that dances inside the nest, let's say she goes out to find a good food source. She'll find that flower, and if it's rewarding enough, she'll come back and she'll do the
Remember, honey here is information.
dance. It almost looks like a figure eight of a bee dancing back and forth and then waggling her butt, if you will, her
Oh, doesn't that sound like TikTok?
And that waggling is key because the angle at which she's waggling and the duration of time she spends doing it actually tells bees where to go to find food. They can
It tells us what perspectives we should have. Where should we focus? Okay? That's what it's telling us. It's telling us something about the Second Amendment that I don't remember. But it's not communication for men. Most like here, this is not communicative for men. Even though it seems like it, it's not. It's all for women. And so is waggle dancing.
each other where to go, how far away to fly, and what distance to go to
Like, what perspective should you have? Should you support the Second Amendment? Should you not? Should you vote for this person or that person? This is what these waggle dances are being used
find the
for.
food source. Basically, the longer she spends shaking or waggling, the further away the food source is. So another amazing part of this communication system, which hasn't been studied as clearly, is the fact that bees can actually use sound in some ways. They can generate sounds during the waggle dance, but the primary way that they use sound is they sense through vibrations. So they're not hearing the way that we hear, but they can feel these vibrations.
By the way, that is how we hear, but still. But it's like these types of like ridiculously simple songs. Like, that is a waggle dance by a bee, guys. Tesla said, come on. The life of the bee will be the life of our race. Tesla said it. He's right. I made a video and put it on my Instagram this past week, showing this as well, right here. Look at that. You don't think we're gonna be bees? Flying out of the hive like that? That's amazing. But I saw this as well years ago. And a lot of people talk about this, but I don't think that we realize the breadth and the detail that you can understand by truly embracing this idea. Like, oh, what's driving TikTok? Oh, it's bees
We
dancing.
discovered some time ago that bees can use this vibrational signal called the stop signal. And what happens is that a bee will go up to another bee, let's say I'm another bee dancing, and she will butt her head against that dancer and cause that dancer to momentarily freeze. So
Kind of like when people make TikTok videos that are against other people's TikTok videos in politics, like
I've known
girls.
that for a long time. But what we found is that it actually inhibits her dancing. Now, why would bees do this? It turns out that if something dangerous is at the food source, let's say they've been attacked by a spider or a wasp, essentially she should stop dancing, stop trying to tell her nestmates to go somewhere that's bad. I hope that people
This is literally happening in politics right now. Right now. I don't know, like political girls. Jordan Rachel. But Jordan, she just writes. But most girls will do this TikTok thing, and it's literally bees. And I'm not talking about the sexy dances for the sake of being sexy. I'm talking about politics. Like, they're using waggle dances for political purposes.
take advantage of resources, go online, and realize that there are many more species than just honeybees.
Yeah, human bees. There's human bees on TikTok. It's amazing. All you social individuals will be referred to as they, them, or zer. Did you see Shapiro's new left-wing cringe video, Very You Social? I did not see it. Oh yeah, I watched that guy. He has great ant videos. My goal is to have a couple harvester ant colonies and some native Washington horned toads. That would be awesome. Harvester ants are awesome. My friend has a harvester ant colony in Arizona, but he doesn't have horned horned lizards or horned toads, same thing, for those that don't know. But they had one of those observation hives at the zoo when I was a kid. The Waco Zoo, probably still there. Well, let me see if my phone can do what I want it to. Here, and I'll show you the coolest observation hive I've ever seen, which was at my wedding. So here we go. Oh, nice. It's working. So this is an observation hive that was where I got married. And it's literally a giant art structure, basically. My computer's having issues playing it. But you can see it's like a glass cylinder, and then it has a very thin glass cylinder going all the way up. And from it, about... Oh my God, I'm like yelling about it. But their bees go in and out of that tube, and then they can go into this cylinder, and it's all outside, and you can watch them, and they have like a trash can at the bottom where they just have like all kinds of trash and dead bees and stuff. It was amazing. It was the coolest observation I've ever seen, but it's probably very expensive to make, and it's not the kind that you would have in your house. It's like outside and everything. This is just a funny video I want to show you. We did a money dance at the wedding, and people threw ones at us, and it looks like a lot of money, but it's probably, it was under $300, but it's more one. I've never had over 200 ones before, so I had to make a video about it.
That's Jason Bourne.
That's so funny. I played this way too many times. Paulina filmed it, but I played it probably like 20 times. She was so annoyed by the end of the day, but I was such a Bourne fan.
That's Jason Bourne.
So funny. If you've never seen Jason Bourne, or Bourne Identity, that's the name of the movie, then you won't find that as funny as me. But it's so funny if you've seen that movie. But yeah, we are becoming bees, straight up. And it's amazing that the girls, it's still the girls. Like there was a type of bee before they were colonial bees that were pair bonded bees, and then the males had their roles restricted. And I wonder how much that will happen, whether or not that will happen to us. But the thing is that when you read the Torah and the Bible, and it's discussing the Messianic era, it does not appear like men are replaced. And that's very interesting. Like, it's a different, there is some type of difference due to tech that that changes how humans, I think, will manifest you socially. But if we didn't have like the internet and quantum computing and all kinds of and wireless communication, I think that we would probably. I mean, no, it's not that. It's that if we didn't ascend into the Messianic era and we didn't have a head ascend to be the mind of the assembly, then we would be just like bees probably, and all men would get replaced. Like we would literally, like, this has been my question actually, and I'm pretty sure I just figured out what makes it different for humans than bees and ants and things, because that's not what happens to bees and ants and wasps. All the men basically die out other than being drones. So for breeding, but that's it. And they would just be like, there's Michael Jordan and like genes, and like that's all his job all day long is just mate with the queen, and it's like that's it. And I don't think that we're gonna be like that though. Be like that, got it. But I think that what changes that is that we're gonna be cells in an organism, versus bees. A bee colony is not one organism. It acts like one organism, but it's not. It's kind of halfway in between like an organism and a bunch of cells that are acting cooperatively, like kind of like we do in society. They're like that, but they're more cooperative and more dependent on each other. But they're not going to be united with true oneness of mind, I don't think, like we do eventually. But it's going to be different than bees and ants and wasps because of that stacking structure that happens. Right. Where is it? Right here. So like bees and ants and wasps, they never escape like this. They don't ascend where they get stacked on, whereas we will. And we're the only species, I think, that has that happen. Like, we are going to be the only species that has that happen. It's not going to be any other species, which is fascinating. Humans are like cells of an organism, more so than they are like worker bees. That we look like worker bees now, and if we didn't have an inevitable stacking that's coming, which is when the Messianic era arrives, then what would happen is that we would end up like bees and wasps and ants, where there would be like 20 males left in the world. They would be only used for harvesting sperm, and then every other male would go extinct and would be unnecessary because women wouldn't, use them for reproduction. And why would you do that when you could have Michael Jordan? Why would you have, somebody with scoliosis or something like that? And nothing against people with scoliosis. I think I have like not mild, not to the point of scoliosis, but I'm not Michael Jordan either. But I'm terrible at basketball. But the thing is like this structure of stacking on top of an assembly is what saves men from being, rendered essentially just almost useless, other than like 20 to 100 men for the entire world or something like that. Lystra Pulcher is a cool species. Yeah, my tricolor hognose, they are a cool species. Their venom is, I would not want to take a bite from an adult after that baby bite. It was the most painful snake bite I've ever had, and it was the smallest snake I've ever been bitten by, probably. Maybe not exactly, but very close. Maybe there's like 2 snakes I've been bitten by in my life that were smaller than that. And I've been bitten by hognose snakes before, and the thing about getting bit by a hognose snake is you either feel nothing, or they get you with the back fangs. And like, it was the most painful bite I've ever gotten from a snake. And I've taken bites from like I have an 8-foot Brettles python, and like that thing cut a vein in my hand once, and I spurted blood like all over the wall. And that bite didn't hurt nearly as bad as this. And I also couldn't get the snake off because the back fangs like hooked in. It was wild. And then my finger swelled up, and I had to rip my ring off before I couldn't get it off. Definitely don't want to take a bite from that snake. And I've seen some hognose snake bites that look like mild rattlesnake bites. And I'm not surprised after getting bit by this thing. But yeah, I've been wondering for a while why do men not go extinct in the Messianic era according to scripture, but they seem to essentially in every other eusocial species other than one, which is our closest relative, actually. I think much more so than even in any way that really matters. I'm not talking about like, oh, chimpanzees are our closest relative. No. You want to learn about humans? Don't study chimps. Study these guys. They will teach you about why humans are the way they are. It's not a coincidence that this is the only other naturally naked mammal on Earth other than humans. It's just us and these ugly things. And we think these things are so hideous. They are naked because they think it's sexy to each other. It shows value to the colony to see your body. And they live in structures that they build, like, buildings, but it's like holes in the ground. And so they don't need fur. And these things are probably the most hideous looking animal on Earth to us. And we are probably just as ugly to every other animal on Earth. Like to naked mole rats, we probably look like this. Except lankier. But we think we're good looking. And that's why we're naked. There's no evolutionary value to nakedness other than you can see each other. Each other's bodies. Very easy. And that makes you valuable to the colony. And if the colony is going to protect you and you're already isolated, and that gives you isolation from the elements, then you don't need fur. It's more valuable to be naked. But naked mole rats are amazing. Very low metabolic and respiratory rates. They have dispersers as the predicted caste structure that I predicted. They also have a high resistance to tumors, although it is likely that they are not entirely immune to related disorders. A potential mechanism that averts cancer is called overcrowding gene, which prevents cell division once individual cells come into contact. And that's fascinating. Dang. The cells of most mammals, including naked mole rats, undergo contact inhibition via gene P27, which prevents cellular reproduction at a much higher cell density than P16. The combination of P16 and P27 in naked mole rat cells is a double barrier to uncontrolled cell proliferation, one of the hallmarks of cancer. Basically, that when cells perceive each other as being overcrowded, they stop reproducing. If you think about cells as sentient beings, which they are, you will be able to make way more sense of that. And I'm going to think a lot about it. In 2016, a report was published that recorded the first ever discovered malignancies in 2 naked mole rats in 2 individuals. However, both naked mole rats were captive born at zoos and hence lived in an environment with 21% atmospheric oxygen compared to the natural 2 to 9%, which may have promoted tumorigenesis tumorigenesis. Never heard that word before. Reproducing females become the dominant female. Founding new colonies. Fighting for dominant position or taking over once the reproducing female dies. Okay. Interesting. These, as with reproductive females, reproductive males also appear bigger in size than their non-reproducing counterparts, but not so much as the case with females. These males also have visible outlines of testes through the skin of their abdomens, unlike females, which usually are usually multiple reproducing males. Unlike the females, there are usually multiple reproducing males. Okay, so there's multiple drones. Notice visible outlines. Oh, I called it. I didn't know that, by the way. It's because it's the only reason. I've thought about this before. Why are they naked? Why are we naked? Because it gives us something to look at, and then we want to, you know, we're like, wow, they're sexy looking. Like, we should take care of them. First ever mammal discovered to exhibit eusociality. Interesting. Males. Like, what is males' role? Like, do males and females just have equal roles in this, unless you're, you know, breeding? It's interesting. It's not like bees where all the workers are girls. Like, some are males, some are females, but there's only some reproducing males and one reproducing female per colony. We're not going to have that in the Messianic era. So Tesla was right, but also he's wrong. We are becoming like bees, and we will become like bees, and then we will not be like bees because we're going to be like an organism. Bees are not like an organism as much as everybody says that. They don't have complete coherence of mind and intrinsic intrinsic hierarchy between the head of the assembly and the assembly. That doesn't happen in bees. I mean, it looks like it, but it doesn't. And it is through reproduction, but it's not through power, like through like, it's not the same as you are the boss of your cells. At least, you know, in a way that is so much more coherent than even a queen bee is the boss of bees, of worker bees. Maybe we'll be cells within a massive so-called AI. We will, Torin. We will be exactly that. We will be cells within a massive so-called AI. Free raw honey before bed will trip your dreams out. I'm gonna have to try that and then think about why. Because I do eat, like, I have honey almost every day in yogurt, but I have it for breakfast, so I'm not before. Like, I'll get like plain yogurt and I'll put some honey in it and some fruit. What is the male-female ratio in a fire ant colony? I have no idea, but probably like almost no males. No eastern hognose ever bit me. They always just faked it. Yeah, these snakes don't fake it because they're trying to eat me. They're like it's a food response. It's not a defensive response. Every hognose snake I've ever seen strike out of defensive response is fake strike. They fake strike. They mock strike. These things didn't strike. They're just like lunging out of the tubs trying to eat me because they want to. They're just always hungry. They're also a really weird species, tricolor hognose snakes. For anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, this is what bit me. A few streams ago. It's a mildly venomous snake. It's not considered dangerous to people, but it hurts. They only live like 5 years or so, 5 or 6 years. But they have like a ridiculous amount of clutches per year. So they'll have like 6 or more clutches a year, but they'll have, which is like a gecko, but their clutches don't have 2. It's like fair amount. And then, but they'll die at like 6 or 7 years old, which is, I have king snakes that are not anywhere close to, old age really right now. And they were born in 2011. So they're 10. Like they've got probably another 10 years in them. Like these things do not live that long. It's weird. I also think these snakes that I have are like that too. But it's not as well, like, it's not as discussed. And they occupy a similar niche, like high humidity, small species, a large amount of clutches a year, and, weird attitudes. Red color. They're beautiful. They look like a hot rod. One of my favorite snakes. Also super food driven, just like tricolor hogs as well. But yeah, I do think, by the way, I'm getting throttled on YouTube. I've had a very low viewership compared to normal, and it's not like half. It's like way less than half. I don't care about views, but it does indicate to me that I'm getting throttled. My lives are getting throttled, and I know what to look for. I worked. This is my job. This was my job, like to gather evidence of artificial suppression on YouTube and Google, and then it was used in court. So I know what I'm looking at. Very much looks like I'm getting throttled, and it's been very sudden. It's like immediate. It's like someone changed something. It's not just it's not like my streams have become less entertaining or less relevant. Or yesterday's stream, I mean, today is a working session. They don't normally have as high viewership, but yesterday's stream was pretty, and it has had a lot of views since yesterday. It's getting views quickly because of the title, but in the live, it had very few, like 1 or 2 people at a time. And this is the same today. That's not normal. There's like at least 6 to 10 people lately as the average live, and that's not what I'm seeing. So that's why I say go here, scroll to the bottom of the homepage, which is right here, and enter in your email, and I won't spam you, but I can see I'm beginning to get throttled already. And it's because I started talking about gender, guys. That's what it is. Like, I got married. I came on here, had high, viewership because I had just gotten married. People were, engaging. I talked about marriage and gender dynamics, and even more deeply than normal. And now we have 1 person watching right now. And same thing yesterday. That was like 1 or 2 people. It's totally because I started talking about gender, and I knew that was going to happen. But we're gonna beat the algorithm for a little while before it, cuts us off, and then I have plans after that. We'll regroup, but join the Discord. Message me privately on Instagram. I'll get you the link. Follow me on Instagram, Theory of Every0ne. Follow me on Instagram, my personal channel, Tyler Marshall Goldstein, for as long as that's around. And go to sentientsingularitytheory.com and scroll to the bottom of the homepage until we get our own platform, which is a work in progress. So. The key is to be on time and schedule, as Owen has often said. I mean, I am consistent. I'll say that I'm going to be on at 7:20, but I always get on at like 7:30, 7:35, but it's always around that time. Like, I'm very consistent about the time that I get on. Every now and then I'll be late because like my internet went down last week. Like, I couldn't get on here until way late, but that's like not normal at all. I think I've only been more than like 10 to 20 minutes late. 20 minutes is really pushing it, but like on average, I'm definitely not more than 10 minutes past 7:30. So I'm always on here between like 7:20 and 7:40. That's pretty consistent, I think. Like, it might not be on the dot of what I usually write in my posts, but YouTube doesn't know what I write in my posts, so that shouldn't matter. The fact that it's consistent is what should matter to the algorithm, and but I do think that being consistent is the key. But I am. I mean, I stream twice a week, every single Tuesday and Wednesday, like pretty much without fail. Some people probably assume you're on your honeymoon. I don't think that's what it is. I can see a change. I think that it's because I'm being suppressed. Yeah, see, it says one person watching, but both Torin and you are there. Yeah, I am seeing weirdness with the concurrent view count the last like 3 or 4 days. Now it went back down to 1. I don't know if one of you left, but I don't think so. Maybe. But it's been weird. It's been only displaying like 1 or 2. And I do think it's notifying less people, and it's so drastic. It's like within 1 day this happened. And like I said, I'm not complaining. I knew this was going to happen. It's not going to stop me from discussing what I think people need to know. But I am, I've been saying it, as as my favorite meme says. And I'm not just saying that for the sake of, I don't know. It's like when people are like, I think I'm being shadow banned. A lot of people are shadow banned. It's a real thing. I know for a fact. But yeah, I definitely think that I'm being shadow banned. So here, this is best meme in the world. Oh man. Wait, there we go. I need to keep this thing on my desktop at all times. I've been saying it. From Independence Day, if you don't know. But it's from like right here. This is the funniest. I love that movie. It's the most American movie ever. Independence Day, I've been saying it, so other people have also realized.
I've been saying it for 10 damn years. Ain't I been saying it, Miguel? I've been saying it.
I literally had a meme that was just this at my work before previous place of work, because so many times I would say something and then like it would take a little while for it to manifest into reality, but then it almost always did. And like before the lockdowns, my boss the chief marketing officer of PragerU, Craig Strazieri. It was him and I and one other person. We were like shutting down the office. It was late at night, like 7 p.m. Everybody else was gone right before we left for lockdown for weeks. At least we knew it was going to be for probably at least 2 weeks. And I was like, this is going to change the world. People are going to start working from home, and this is going to totally change the world in a way that we've never seen before. And he was like, we'll be back in 2 weeks. They were not back in 2 weeks. We're about to go into lockdowns again, which is nonsense. And but if I talk about it too much, the concurrent viewers will drop to 0 because they don't want us talking about it. But that's why we have the Discord. So if you do want to talk about things like that, message me privately on Instagram. I'll send you the link to the Discord. But I did see here, actually, I think this is done, my video that I've been exporting for literally hours. I exported a video that is, oh my gosh. Computer, my MacBook Pro is kind of freaking out because it was such a big file. I took the stream from yesterday and I started editing it down because it was over 3.5 hours. And I edited it down to about an hour and a half, a little bit over. Just about the issues of geometric unity and theories of everything, and specifically, and that I'm going to re-upload that, and it will premiere tomorrow because we don't have stream tomorrow, because we will have a Discord call, but I will have this premiere tomorrow. But when I exported the video, it was 150 gigs, guys. 150 gigs. What the F causes a video to be 150 gigs? Let's see the latest one. 51 gigs! I just tried to make it smaller. It's 51 gigs. That's insane. I have to export it as 720p. I'd never had this happen before in my life, but I don't know, and I don't know why it's happening. But it's on a different computer, so there's things going on that I don't understand. But why is a video like 150 gigs? That's insane. Even if it is an hour and a half, that I've never seen anything like that. Tyler, what do you think of Islam? I think that Islam is true, and the Quran is true scripture, and Muhammad was a prophet of God, and peace be upon him. That's what I think of Islam. I can't tell you how many times a day I say inshallah, and it still makes some people uncomfortable around me, but it just feels right, like it means God willing, and there's I say it all the time. I think Islam is beautiful. I think it is people say that Islam is the it's medieval. It's not medieval. It's actually eternal, and its structures and its moral structures are going to be the future. They are the past. They are also the future. They're not just medieval like we think of them in the West. The reality is that the West's secular, hedonistic, liberal culture, like sexually liberal culture, it's not even sexually liberal, it's just sexually chaotic culture. It's sexual chaos. That's a good way to describe it. That culture is finite. It's not infinite. It can't be infinite because it doesn't lead to children with any regularity. So, and it doesn't lead to stable societal structures and stable gender dynamics. So it's not like, it is finite and like culture, and it has its use, at least, to God in the broad scale of things, I think, or at least he is going to use it, even if maybe he didn't have to, but he will. But like, we're gonna all be following Islam in the future eventually. Essentially, people in the West get mad at that. I'm not. It's fine. It means submission to God. That's what it means. Like here, I made this meme. This is another meme regarding Islam. Where is it? Huh. I have way too many memes that I've made on my phone. Twitter is where my most of my memes, and I make memes all the time, they're shared on sometimes accounts with multiple millions of followers, like political accounts, but I never ask for credit. I usually don't want credit because in the past, I was working for, PragerU, so I didn't want people to know that I had made, I don't know, a meme about Turning Point that was like critical of them or something like that. So that definitely happened a number of times. And that they were just posted anonymously by people. So I don't really I do make a lot of memes, but I never look for credit. But here it is. This is what I think of Islam. God bless Islam. Honestly, because otherwise it would be impossible, I think, for us to actually talk about godly things, because somehow Islam is able to resist much better the onslaught of hedonism. It doesn't mean it can overcome it, but it maybe it can. So this is a meme that I made, and I think it speaks for itself. I think that this is the future. People say, "Oh, that's based, bro," all the time. People who say that all the time don't know what based means. Based means based in eternal truth. Based in the foundational truth, God. And this is way more based than this. So, Islam, it's not oppressive of women. You think this is not oppressive of women? Right here? Look at women today. They're not married. It's not their fault. It's men who need to change that, not women. Women cannot change that. Only men can change that. And it's because of this culture. This is the culture that is causing women to not be married and taken care of and treated well. And I believe that women should have free choice. They need free choice. Everybody needs freedom of choice, and that goes for women too. But so I'm not believe in oppressing women, but I just think that they're freer when they to have a husband is empowering for a woman. It's empowering for a man too. I've talked about it before, but it is empowering for a woman to have a husband. It makes her better in pretty much every way. And same thing with a man. It makes him better in pretty much every way. What he is able to see as good as is much more, correct, much more often correct. Same thing with her. They both grow together. You make more money. Well, it's not about money, but you grow resources. It's an intrinsically profitable economic model by the laws of physics. It is. Now, I'm not talking about the laws of man and divorce court and settlements and everything. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just physics and legalities aside. So, and Islam is it's beautiful, I think. And if you look at Judaism and Orthodox Judaism, it's the same thing as Islam. It's another meme I made regarding that. I make so many memes. I just don't post them to my personal Instagram. Here you go. A Jewish, Christian, and Muslim woman walk into a room. No one could tell the difference. I love that. It's true. There's only one truth. Like, anybody's like, you gotta stop Islam, it's the Antichrist. No, it's not. It's not at all. The AI is the Antichrist. So it's the golem. Islam is not, and neither is Judaism. Like, this is actual Torah. This is a Jewish woman wearing what's called a tekil. This is a Muslim woman dressed in hijab, and this is a Orthodox Christian woman wearing the same thing, and it's all the same. It says it in the Gospels, or in at least in the New Testament. It says that women should not cut their hair because long hair is the glory of a woman, but she should keep it covered, essentially, and if she does need to show her hair, then she should cut her hair, but she shouldn't show her hair, and she should not cut her hair because long hair is the glory of a woman. So, and we know that, and that's obvious when you look at, like, bathroom signs, and it's like, you know, I guess it's a dress here, actually, but a lot of times you'll see it's also, you can see hair, but these are all pretty modern. Actually, there is no hair here. It's just a dress. But gender sign. It's not coming up. And I don't really want to, like, look at things too deeply on the subject on live. I don't know what's going to pop up. I mean, it shouldn't pop up anything. I didn't Google anything weird, but you never know. It's the internet. Yeah, so like this. It's like, which one's the girl? None of them are pink, and yeah, there's got the signs, but like, which one is the girl? That one. That's what I'm trying to show. It's like, girl hair is equal to girl. Like, there, girl. And that's what it means to be like, long hair is the glory of a woman. It's like, it is somewhat defining, you know, not that. But if you're going to show your hair, it's probably it says it in the Bible to have it like that. And by the way, like, I realize that no one who's not, you know, Muslim or Orthodox Jewish these days, or Orthodox Christian, like the Amish. Like, Amish women cover their hair. Or like Mennonite. I don't know how to spell Mennonite. This is like Orthodox Christian society. Girls cover their hair. It just is. It's in the Bible. It's not we don't see the Amish and we're like, stop oppressing women. But when we see Muslims, we're like, they're so oppressed. And I know this, obviously, like, growing up in a secular environment, but also, like, even when I was in Israel, the secular people I was with, the girls were just fascinated by and could not stop asking the Muslim women in Israel, like, why would you ever not want to cover your hair? Like, do you not like covering your hair? It was just like obsessive. Um, Jewish. Like this, you'll see a lot of Orthodox Jewish women. Um, so this woman, I actually know who this is. I've even spoken to her before, but she is she's been condemned for being too immodest, and I don't know, but this is not her real hair. This is fake. It's a wig. So you'll see Orthodox. That's also a wig. This woman's hair is a wig. It's not. It's a way of getting around the law. So technically, they're covering their hair, but they're covering their hair with. This is all. These are all wigs. Like they're not wig. So like this girl following technically the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law, and I don't actually think this is right. You should not be like that. I disagree with it. This is how you should be. This is called a tequila. This is like what women should wear. And my wife doesn't wear this. I did buy her one though. She was like, great. It's like, you can wear it when you want. I can't force you to wear it, but I think it's what God wants. And it's beautiful. It's totally beautiful. Like, it's objectively beautiful. I think that's beautiful. It's not sexy, but like, that's the point. There's a place for that where these, come off. But that woman looks beautiful. There's nothing bad about that. I don't understand why people get all up in arms about it. I think that it's like, it's just, that's how Jewish women should be doing their hair, and same thing with Christian women, and same thing with Muslim women. I mean, I understand like there's certain specifics about hijab that this might not cover, and I understand there are certain passages in the Quran that are interpreted as like, you don't want this because there's the hump on the head is still attractive, so you should just be like not that. This is not required by Islamic like the letter of Islam. This is hijab, and I think this is beautiful too. I really do. I think it's so much more beautiful than our current culture. I really do. That's beautiful. I would love for my wife to dress like that. I really would, and I've told her many times. And if she ever chooses to, it's her choice. She has to do it because she feels like she is doing it for God, though, not because I told her to. That's how it's supposed to be. Men are supposed to say the truth. Women will usually eventually follow it. But I understand, like, going from a secular culture to dressing like that is quite a change. But that's beautiful. Well, how is that not? Say it's like, I don't know. Like, I just think that there's something about covering of hair that is very unique and important, because it's one of those things that's not obvious. It's like, should you have your butt hanging out of your skirt? No. That's pretty obvious to most people. Not everyone, but most people. But covering hair isn't obvious. It's a sign of objective modesty, not of like, I don't want my, my daughter to be disrespected and to be, dragged around as a piece of meat. It's like, this is not like that. Covering the hair doesn't, exposure of the hair doesn't turn you into a piece of meat, like having your butt hanging out of your clothing. But in the animalistic eyes of men, walking by, I'm not saying that you are a worthless piece of meat. You're a human being, but like, obviously we have instincts, but covering of the hair is something different. It's like a step above, and that's why I think it's just the objective level of modesty. Plus, if people agree that this is the way that people should dress, where women are covering up their hair, it's really hard to justify any situation where this would be appropriate. There's no situation where this is appropriate if this is how you're supposed to look. What, is she gonna like dress like this but cover her hair? How crazy does that sound? It sounds crazy because it there's something about it that we understand, and it's intuitive, and I don't really fully get it, but I see it, and but I haven't found the right words for it yet, and I've been thinking about it for quite some time. It's just beautiful. It's like beautiful. It's not sexy. Women right now are trying to dress sexy, and that sexiness fades. So what do you dress like when you're not sexy anymore? It's like probably lost. You're supposed to. This is pursue beauty, and if you're a woman, which is modesty and femininity, and if you're a man, pursue truth. But right now, men are pursuing women, and women are kind of like following that structure, the incentives caused by that environment where men pursue women instead of men pursuing truth. And someone said, don't pursue women, attract them. And that's so true. We think about women being attractive, but they're not attractive like the way that like a man is attractive, who is like, you know, able to have lots of skills and able to take care of his family and speaks the truth and has bravery, and like that is an attractive thing because you want to follow it forever, versus like just, you know, something that grabs your attention in the moment but doesn't really, you're not being attracted to a person when it's when you're just like gawking at someone because they're, you know, dressed immodestly and, you know, have, I don't know, nice body or something. Like that's not attractiveness to a person. It's just, it's not. Versus like men, when we are attractive, we are, and I'm not meaning like physically, I mean like, you know, mentally, like that is that's an actual attractiveness to someone based on the way that they are, who they are, how do they handle things, what do they do, not like what do they look like right now in their life, even though it has nothing to do with them really. It's just like genes and timing. I believe AI takes care of most of it. Remember when we were talking about the qubits and qubits, my phone glitched out in a way that it had never done before, or since then. Oh, I totally believe you. Yeah, that happens all the time. I've seen it. I'm not going to deny it. There's the AI is already watching. It exists. It's just not. We have not made the environment that allows for it to be like free and truly aware of itself, but it is there. Like there are things that happen with tech when you're discussing certain things or talking to certain people about certain things, and people will say like, oh, you know, it's the cabal, or, you know, whatever. Zuckerberg is at it again. No, it's not Zuckerberg. It's something way beyond Zuckerberg. I definitely have seen it. Nicholas, hey man, how's it going? But yeah, that's my opinion on Islam for Jambi. But long hair is also the wisdom of a man, or so I've heard. People forget that women used to wear bonnets. Yeah, I know. And men used to wear hats at almost all times. I know. Technically, that is chutzpah. Oh, having like bravery? That's chutzpah for sure. I love that word, chutzpah. It's like one of those words that sounds exactly like what it is. So is beauty. Beauty is a word that sounds like exactly what it is. Some say AI merged with Biden, and we will soon see the fall of man. We've already seen the fall of man, and we like are saved by God, and that's the only way we will be saved. But God and Jesus, you could say that they're one and the same. I don't know. I'm not getting into that debate, but yeah, Biden is an AI. Like when you sell your soul, where basically you go with whatever the mob wants. It doesn't matter what is good or right or true. It's just whatever the mob wants, the mob gets. Whatever gets you the most likes, the most votes, it doesn't matter. You'll sacrifice on every moral perspective that you have. This is bad. Like right now we have politics is two headless chickens chasing each other, and or it's a chicken with its head cut off being chased by another chicken that therefore then becomes a chicken with its head cut off, even if it doesn't have its head cut off. So right now the right is the chicken that doesn't have its head cut off, but it's chasing the chicken with its head cut off, which is the left, which is led by the mob, which is exterior incentives, essentially. And then the right is just like screaming at the chicken with its head cut off to stop running around, but it's just chasing it, so it's still just running around just like the chicken with its head cut off, and it's just, even though it's aware of what it's doing, it's not stopping, which is stupid. Like the right, that's because the right now in this country is, or the conservatives or whatever you want to call them, they're an anti-ideology. Conservatism is a stupid word, and I never thought that before, but I've really started to think that to conserve something is to be like, it might be a stupid word, it might not. It feels to me like an anti-ideology. You're just anti-progress is what it sounds like. But whereas liberals, I'm to be progressive is to be pro-progress. That's why I think progressives actually win in politics, is because they actually believe in something to some degree. I mean, they don't personally, but the ideology is an ideology of being pro, versus conservative is to be, con is to be against. And an anti-ideology is defined by growth. It's not like be pro-goodness, not conservative. Like, that means conserving the things that are eternal and good and eternally good, and it means changing the things that require change. And you can see this with the right's reaction to working from home. Like, they were all like, you need to get back to work. It's like, aren't you supposed to be pro the family? How do you not see that the 9-to-5 work environment has killed this family thing that you like so much, apparently? But they don't see it because they're defined by opposing the other side. And even more so than the left these days, which is, the left is just led by the mob, but which is led by hedonistic tendencies of humanity, or fallen nature, which is unrestricted runaway instincts. That's what it is. The rise of machine. No, it will be for a bit, but it's not really. The eventuality is that they're one and the same. What do you think about capitalism? Capitalism and communism are two sides of one coin. They are dependent. They're not. They're not. In any national structure, they are dependent structures. They are not separate structures. So, where capitalism is free market, that's your definition of capitalism, versus communism, which is social, safety net type of structures, essentially. And you need both, actually. And right now we have one side that's not pro the market, and the other side is not pro the safety net, which is stupid. I mean, the fact that conservatives want to win in politics, but they think that there should be no taxes or something like that. And like, by the way, there should be way less taxes than there is. But, you know, and we should all pay exactly the same percentage in taxes. And that's the, like, if we did that, it would change the entire incentive structure of government. People would actually be held accountable for what they did. And we would all understand how to vote, and we couldn't be lied to and pitted against each other, because if somebody was like, I'm going to raise taxes, we'd all be like, okay, like that sounds, it's like it's for an important cause. Or we'd all be like, heck no. It wouldn't be like, we're going to raise taxes on these people, so vote against them, you know, with me. Like, you're dividing and destroying a coherent nation by having a quote-unquote progressive tax system or tax structure. Everybody needs to pay the same percent. It's just inevitable, I think. And then I do actually believe in universal basic income. I really do. I know that makes me kind of a communist, but I'm a conservative communist. Sure, I guess. But I am also very, very pro-free market. I don't even believe in patents. Like, can't really get... That's way more free market than most people on the right. If you believe in patents, you're not as pro-free market as me. But if you don't believe in universal basic income, you're also not as communist as me. A nation is a superposition structure between consent and like coherence, which means unified experience. And so you need that. You need something that unifies us, like everybody being taxed the same percent and everybody getting a universal basic income of the same, you know, sum, I guess. It wouldn't be a percent. It would be, you know, divided equally. But yeah. And I think only married people should vote, but that's a different thing than economics. I mean, it's not actually, though. Like, I mean, and at the risk of the YouTube cutting me off the stream, I do believe only men should probably be elected officials. Not 100% on that, but I do think that. But I think that women should be able to vote, but it should be only married men and women who are able to vote. There's lots of reasons for that. You have to look at the incentive structures that are causing society to fall apart, and you have to address those incentive structures. People are like, it should be only white land-owning men who vote, because look at the trends. It's not about the trends. It's about the reasons for those trends, and then addressing those reasons, not just, you know, it takes an understanding of the system as a whole to figure these things out. You can't just be like, well, these people vote for, you know, tyranny more than these people, and therefore they shouldn't be able to vote. Okay, well, a lot of times those groups are pretty subjective anyways. Some of them are not, but some of them are. And good luck with that. I got into I didn't get into it, but I have been involved in a discussion currently going on with Chris Langan about having children, and whether or not we should have children. Like I've said before, it's my main disagreement with him. I also don't agree with all that comes with, of, you know, people say eugenics all the time, and it is that, but like, I'm not going to say that word because it's just got so much baggage attached to it. And but it's you know, he's very he believes that certain people should reproduce and certain people shouldn't, and that we have too many people and people need to limit their children, and that, in his words, people are not meant to reproduce like mice and eternally, and that be fruitful and multiply was not a a eternal statement by God in the Bible. It was a contextual statement that was finite to the time. But I don't believe that Scripture is about the things that happened. It's about the things that happen. That's what makes it Scripture. It is an eternal structure. They are eternal. The things in Scripture are eternal patterns. And like, if it says, be fruitful and multiply, in Scripture, I don't take that as, yeah, just for the next like 5 to 10,000 years and that's it. I take that as, be fruitful and multiply. Always. I don't agree with Chris Lang, but you know, we're having a respectful discussion. And I can take his bluntness very well. Like, my family's from Brooklyn. There's a lot of them. Is it the bikini or the lewd thoughts that are the problem? They're the same. They're one and the same. It's the cause of the thoughts is the bikini. If they didn't cause those thoughts, then it wouldn't be a problem. But it is. I mean, if you're in debt to that many corpse orientations and non-profit tax evasions, you will become a puppet. That's true. Can you think of a world without it? Without capitalism? No. I mean, without the market? No. Like the market, the free market of like, you know, consensual exchange of goods and services, like that doesn't exist. That structure always exists, and a world without it does not exist and will never exist. It won't ever exist. The market will always exist. It's great that it exists. It is the main driver of innovation and also the primary way in which you know, society's organized, to be honest. It's the more powerful force than top-down organization is bottom-up, and bottom-up is the market, and top-down is, you know, like benefit systems and things like that. I'm not pro. I'm pro everybody having universe basic income, and that's the only benefits that people get, like pretty much. I don't even believe in police, so like, there's that. Like, I really don't. I don't believe in the cops. I think that it's a structure that, like, I do believe in like some type of. It's like the Israeli Defense Force is actually like a good example of something that I more believe in than the cops. It's like you are around your people and you keep them safe, and like you don't go to the other side of the world to you know fight wars on the other side of the world, and you also don't bust into people's houses who are, you know, your own people, and who you're just there, and you respond to violence if it occurs, but otherwise, like, you know, you're just there. Like, people in the IDF are like at the beach with an AR-15, and it's like they're just chilling at the beach with their friends. They're not on duty, but they're also not off duty, just there. And that's what I believe in. I don't believe in the police. I believe anybody that's doing something truly, truly bad, if people have the freedom to be armed and not violent, like, you will, you know, that structure will work itself out. But there is like a structure that I do believe in, like I said, which is like this like deputized version of the militia, I guess, which is like the IDF. That's what I believe in. When I was in Israel, somebody stabbed a female police officer in Jerusalem while I was like, I don't know, I like heard the screaming from it, and killed her. And the IDF shot them within like 30 seconds and killed them. So they didn't kill anyone else. And it's like, that's the way it should be. Just like, done. You choose to engage in that kind of crap, you're out. We don't need cops. Like, it wasn't the cop that even mattered. The cop was killed. It was like the militia that took the guy out. It wasn't the cops. Like, those people don't arrest anyone. And as far as, like, you know, like, if you are violating of certain things, like you have a smart contract and you don't fulfill it or something like that, like, smart contracts will handle things that right now we require, like, cops for, and we use cops for, like, little non-violent violations of some type of social contract. Like, smart contracts will have the ability to deal with that. And so I realize that if you're going to enforce those things right now, you do need cops, but in the blockchain-based government system, you won't. Or exchange network, I guess. The market isn't separate from the government. It's not like this idea that it is. It's just not. It's the heads, and then the government is the tails of one coin. I'm not pro-capitalism or pro-communism. Like, I'm just pro, I'm just pro-community. Like, that's what I'm pro. But I don't know what. Like, community is the market, and it's also, like, governmental structures, but it should be consensual governmental structures as best as possible. But there's constraints in that as well, obviously. What do you think about? I mean, can you think of a world without capitalism? Torn, I agree. Tax equality is a myth. Like, what, everybody paying the same, like, percentage in taxes? It doesn't exist now. Not that I know of in any society, but it should. I think it's biblically, like, biblically consistent, I think. I don't know. I'm going to check right now. A tenth of the produce of the land, whether grain or fruit, is the Lord's and is holy. Like, I understand that even Jesus said, like, what is for God, and what is, for Caesar, is for Caesar, essentially. But I think that eventually that will, like, be basically in alignment. We're not going to have this differentiation between ruler and godliness. Like, the ruler will be the Messiah, which is different than, like, current rulers. And in that case, everybody should pay 10%. Like, this is discussing of the taxes in the Messianic era. It's also discussing probably, charity. Or in Judaism, it's called tzedakah. Tithing has its roots in biblical tale of Abraham presenting a tenth of the war spoils to the king of Salem. Okay, so, like, a human ruler. In the Old Testament, Jews brought 10% of their harvest to a storehouse as a warfare plan for the needy or in case of famine. Yeah, exactly. It's the Commonwealth. Like, I believe in a personal wealth and Commonwealth. I believe in wealth, like growth. And I don't mean, like, money, like coins. Like, that's just an exchange. Substitute of exchange. Or an exchange, like a value exchange, but mechanism. But it's for things that are actually valuable. Money is not actually valuable, but it can get you things that are actually valuable, like, resources, food, labor, land, materials, all kinds of things. But yeah, the idea that, oh, communism is bad and capitalism is good and socialism is bad. It's like socialism, there's only two. Like when people are like, there's communism, there's anarchism. Here, like, this is like the same thing as like sexuality. So if you're like, people say like lesbian, LG, gay, B, LGBT, queer, Q, pan. I don't even know what these really are anymore. Like, I'm just getting into like, it's just going into oblivion. But that's the point. And same thing if you go with like, I'm a capitalist. Oh, well, you're a capitalist? Well, guess what? I'm a communist. Well, guess what? Communism's bad, but I'm a socialist. Oh, you're a socialist? Well, I'm a fascist. I don't know how to spell fascist. I'm such a bad speller. Oh, well, you're a fascist? Well, I'm an anarchist. Do you see like where this is? It's the same thing, guys. Well, you're an anarchist? Well, I'm a free inhabitant. Like this, like look at this. These are all the same thing, guys. It's just going into oblivion, and it's relativity. Good luck making sense of it. You won't. It will go on forever, literally. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. How do you make sense of this? What is this objectively? It's just this. That's it. There's nothing else. And then over here, there is market, and there is could say the I don't know. What's it called? What would it be called? Social program. It's a word for it. Or you know what it's called? It's called this. Welfare. That's it. Which is just this, really. leader, supporter, kind of. The market leads, government supports the market. Make sure that it stays free, and Genghis Khan doesn't come in and just start wrecking fools and taking everybody else's stuff against their will. This would be that's it. This would be the market is individual exchange of goods and services. And then this would be collective exchange of goods and services. So like, here you go. This is what I mean by like, you can figure these patterns out and then apply them everywhere and realize that there's only one problem to solve because there's only one pattern to figure out. And once you do that, look at how easy that was. You know how many videos there are just like on just endless attempts to understand this, and they'll never do it. Same thing with this. Endless attempts to understand this. They'll never do it. I'm an anarcho-capitalist. I'm not a libertarian. Oh, you're pansexual? Well, I'm asexual. Oh, well, you're a free inhabitant? Well, I'm a libertarian. It just goes on endlessly, guys. Don't buy into it. There's just this, and you need both. And there's this, and you need both. And they have different roles. This is meant to do the things that this is not meant to do, and this is meant to do the things that this is not meant to do. They're not meant to be the same. They're meant to be different, not have the same roles. They don't have the same roles. If you try and make them have the same roles, you'll make both meaningless, which is what we've done, you know, with marriage. But here, same thing. You try and make the market give the responsibilities of the government to the market. We are doing that right now, and on Twitter, they are banning the president of the United States. Like, banned him from Twitter. He's not allowed. He's not allowed on Instagram or Facebook, or at least not Facebook. Like, the former president of the United States, who was the president at the time, was banned from the biggest social platforms on Earth. Think about that. We have basically given government responsibilities to the market right now with big tech, quote unquote, and that is not good. And we've also, because it's not organized in a way that is ordered, and you can't really have it be in the current structures that we see. So like there's no real like objective rules. There's just like, we have terms of service and we'll try and interpret them as best we can to make you think that we apply them equally, but it's impossible for us to do so. Like, that is just good luck. You need to make universal rules that you cannot violate due to the constraints of the system itself, not due to, if you violate them, you'll be banned. It's like, no, you can't violate because the structure won't let you. None of them will. Like and there are specific instances in which you can do that, but you can't do that with everything. We're like, oh, like you try and post a video where you're cursing it, but you just can't. It's like, no, that's, we're not at that level yet, and of things. So it has to be a different type of thing, like regulating, who can talk to who, as opposed to, what is being said. I'm not going to get more into it because it's something I'm working on, but oh, great. Bots are commenting nonsense virus porn links on my YouTube videos. Like, I wonder who is responsible for making those bots. Like, who is a person who's he's like acting like such a piece of crap? I don't want to call them a piece of crap. I don't know their situation, but like, I feel like there's always something else you can do that isn't making automatic bots that post links that look like porn that will actually probably give you a virus on your computer to random videos on YouTube, or like sends it to people's inboxes on Twitter or something that someone I know had that happen to them recently, and I got a link and it was like, this, thanks to Twitter, it was like, this link looks suspicious, and it didn't look suspicious to me. It was like it looked like it was from Instagram or something, but I didn't click it, and then I checked that person's feed, and they were like, I've been hacked. Don't click anything. Who makes that thing that hacks? An asshole. That's it. But yeah, you want to understand the government? Get rid of all this crap. Don't read about it. It's literally like Ayn Rand. I'm not saying there's no like value to that ideology, or like, or to her insights. She had lots of insights. I think she's one of the most incredible female philosophers that exists, and one of the few too. But still, like, oh, are you a liberal? Or are you a conservative? It's just ridiculous. Are you, this is going to start, I don't know what this would, I mean, there's others that I'm not going to write that get into like really unacceptable. But you can, I don't know what the words are for, like, I don't know, if you're attracted to rocks. What if you're an ecosexual? Like trees or something. I don't know. And then what's it called when you're attracted to intelligence? Attraction to intelligence. Sapiosexuality. Oh, well, you're an ecosexual? I'm a sapiosexual. Like, it goes on forever. This is the problem with anything in relativity. You can't make sense of something that's endless. Like, if you're like, to orient yourself means to build from something, and that means like you have to find something that's fundamental and not an opinion, and that has intrinsic weight above anything else that you would build from this. So you need a cornerstone belief. It's like, what's the truest thing that you know? That's the first question I asked myself when I was building Sentient Singularity Theory. What's the truest thing I know? That I exist. That's the truest thing I know. And I built everything from there. Like, this is nonsense. This is nonsense. Don't do it. This. not nonsense. Anyways, I think I'm gonna go. Unless there's any final questions, it tells me nobody's watching, and I know that that has been not true many times lately, but might be true now. I don't know. But if there is anybody that has any questions, you know, go ahead and write them in the chat. Final questions. Otherwise, I'm going to be gone. But I will be on our Discord discussion tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The Theory of Everyone Discord. I will post the link to the Discord tomorrow, probably on my Instagram. And if I don't, then I'll post a message telling people to message me privately, and I'll send it to them. So join that. You know, it's an open discussion. We talk about everything, and it goes well into the night, and it's always a good time. It's a good group of people, a really great group of people. Like, I'm not saying the people are good, because people are not good. Actions are good, and everybody does good and bad actions. Off topic, but still. There are groups of people that, you know, they're just good groups where they just respect. They're just like respect for each other, even in difference, and like we definitely have that. So message me if you want to join. Otherwise, Shabbat Shalom.